Seeing the system notification, Lloyd thought, RP? Is that like experience points? But there's nothing explaining how to use them. Then he noticed another message stating that he could earn RP by improving his relationships with key characters. He looked at Javier and noticed something floating above his head. It showed that his approval rating with Javier was -30. Seeing that, Lloyd thought, that's incredibly low. Lloyd looked at Javier and said, Hey, Javier. Javier replied, Yes, Master Lloyd. Putting on a charming smile, Lloyd said, I really think you're very good looking. Hearing the compliment, Javier calmly replied, I already know that. At that moment, the system displayed another notification. Javier's approval rating of you has decreased by 1 point. Your current approval rating with Javier is -31. Seeing his approval rating decrease instead of increase, Lloyd became completely confused. He decided to leave the matter for later and focus on something else. A short while later, we see a shabby pub. Inside, Lloyd is discussing business with the pub owner. He tells him that, as compensation for all the property damage he caused in the past, he will build an ondal floor for the pub. He then asks the owner to sign a contract. However, the pub owner looks at Lloyd suspiciously. Seeing that the owner doesn't trust him and has completely hardened his heart against being deceived, Lloyd thinks, this is the biggest problem with the old Lloyd. Nobody trusts him. But he quickly reminds himself that his grand business plan cannot fail before it even begins. Left with no other choice, he decides to rely on his infamous hooligan image. Putting on his intimidating expression, Lloyd says, Come on, we're going to be seeing each other a lot from now on, so let's trust each other, all right? The moment the pub owner sees Lloyd's terrifying face, he immediately signs the contract. Watching the signed contract with a sinister grin, Lloyd thinks, Yes, I finally got my first order. He then smiles brightly and says, You've made the right choice, sir. I won't let you down. However, standing behind him, Javier watches the entire scene with a suspicious look on his face. Soon after, Lloyd and Javier arrive in front of a shabby building. Looking over the area, Lloyd thinks, since it's only going to be a small and cozy place, I don't have to measure every single detail perfectly. From behind, Javier asks, You forced the pub owner to sign that contract. So what now? Are you looking for another way to stir up trouble? Disappointed by the accusation, Lloyd replies, You shouldn't judge someone's character or work solely based on their past. Thinking like that only fills your mind with negativity, and that's bad for your brain. Javier immediately responds, That's not negativity. It's called experience and statistics. Lloyd smiles and asks, Aren't experience and statistics just records of the past? Hearing that, Javier is left speechless. Deep inside, he wonders, was he always this smooth of a talker? Seeing Javier unable to respond, Lloyd confidently says that he will definitely make both the pub owner and his elderly mother smile by building them an ondal floor. Then Lloyd once again puts on his infamous hooligan face. However, inside his mind, he thinks, I need those smiles because they'll become the foundation of my money-making business. With that motivation, Lloyd works day and night without taking a single break, while Javier simply watches from behind. After 7 straight days of non-stop labor, Lloyd finally completes the foundation for the ondal floor. Exhausted beyond belief, he collapses face first into the mud and thinks, This body is seriously too weak. Javier walks over and comments, Building this didn't take very long. Hearing that, Lloyd immediately gets angry. Didn't take long? It took an entire week, he shouts. Javier quietly thinks to himself, he's actually building something. Did the hooligan Lloyd Frontera really change? Even though every muscle in his body aches and his legs are trembling from exhaustion, Lloyd says there's still no time to rest. He picks up an axe and prepares to cut some wood. However, seeing his condition, Javier silently takes the axe from Lloyd's hands and asks, What exactly do you need? Lloyd replies, I need thin wooden boards. About 2 hand lengths long, 1 hand wide, and 1 finger thick. The moment Javier hears the measurements, he effortlessly slices the wood into perfectly sized pieces in an instant. Seeing such incredible swordsmanship, Lloyd is left speechless. He gives Javier a thumbs up and thinks, So this is the man who will become a master swordsman in the future. After that, Lloyd walks over and says, Now that you're finished, why don't you help me with the digging too? Hearing such a shameless request, Javier thinks, This man truly has no shame. I already regret helping him. Seeing Javier's reluctance, Lloyd continues persuading him. You're only helping because you're curious whether I can really pull this off or not. And if you want to know the results sooner, then we need to finish the work faster. And how do we do that? Obviously, by working together. Javier becomes hesitant. Inside his mind, he admits he's not wrong. He really has changed over the past few days. But because of everything he's done before, I still can't fully trust him. Still, if I want to see the results sooner, helping him is the fastest way. And so, Lloyd and Javier work tirelessly together, digging with their shovels. Once everything is finally finished, Lloyd proudly plants his shovel into the ground and shouts with his signature hooligan face. Construction complete. Confused, Javier asks, "What are those strange letters?" Lloyd proudly replies, "That's my brand logo." Afterward, Lloyd says, "Shall we go inside and find out what kind of scam I have prepared for the pub owner this time?" Although confused by Lloyd's confidence, he follows him inside. The moment they enter the building, they see the pub owner and his elderly mother smiling from ear to ear. The entire room is comfortably warm thanks to the Ondal floor. The two of them are overjoyed because they have never experienced such a warm and comfortable floor in their entire lives. Seeing their happiness, Lloyd proudly thinks, "This must seem absolutely incredible to the people of this world. This is the true power of the Ondal floor." The pub owner sincerely thanks Lloyd and says, "It's been such a long time since I've seen my mother smile like this." Watching the heartfelt scene unfold before him, Javier is completely stunned. He thought inside his mind that he really kept his promise. He actually made them smile. As Javier witnesses their genuine happiness, another system notification suddenly appears. Javier's approval rating of you has increased by 2 points. Your current approval rating with Javier is -29. You have earned 36 RP for slightly improving your relationship with a key character. Seeing the notification, Lloyd asks Javier, "So, do you trust me a little now?" Javier honestly replies, "A little, maybe, but I still don't fully trust you." Hearing that, Lloyd thinks to himself that he has finally managed to build a small foundation of trust. More importantly, this house will become the perfect model home to showcase his business and attract future customers. A few days later, a long line of villagers is standing in front of the newly built house. Lloyd sits behind a table covered with contracts and blueprints, while Javier stands silently beside him. Just then, one man walks out of the house and exclaims, "I thought I was going to melt from the heat." Hearing that, the people waiting outside are shocked. "It's really that warm?" they wonder. With his trademark hooligan grin, Lloyd proudly says, "Warm? It's blazing hot. Isn't it amazing?" He then adds, "I bet you'd love to have a room like this in your own home too, wouldn't you?" After that, Lloyd shows everyone 2 different construction designs and announces that anyone who orders both will receive a 10% discount on the total construction cost. However, the villagers remain skeptical. Because of Lloyd's terrible reputation for breaking promises, nobody wants to trust him. Realizing that words alone won't convince them, Lloyd once again puts on his famous hooligan face. "Come on, we'll be seeing each other often from now on, so let's trust each other, all right? At this price, I'm practically giving it away." Just as he finishes speaking, someone suddenly shouts, "Lloyd, what do you think you're doing?" The person who appeared is none other than Arco's Frontera, the baron who rules this territory, and Lloyd's own father. At the same time, the system reveals that Arcos' approval rating of Lloyd is -20. Seeing his father appear at such a critical moment, Lloyd becomes slightly nervous. He realizes that starting his construction business won't be nearly as easy as he had hoped. And with that cliffhanger, the chapter comes to an end. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more chapter recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.